Hi everyone, how are you? I'm doing pretty well. It's pretty busy for me because it's approaching the final few weeks of my quarter. As you guys may know, I'm in grad school right now. I'm getting my master's in public health with a concentration of social epidemiology. And I just wanted to give you guys a desk tour and some advice on how I survived this first quarter because it's kind of been a lot. But yeah, let's get to it, straight to the point. This is my desk. I like to call it a lot of organized clutter. The top part is just a lot of my speakers, my clock, my degrees, some things that I need for art, and the bottom is my pens and binders for school. I'm a really big fan of things that change color, so I have this alarm clock that changes different settings. And then I also have this speaker. Let me see. Yeah, so it's oh my god, that's so bright. But yeah, I have a speaker that has different settings as well, so that's just one mode. So yeah, oh gosh, it's so bright. But yeah, I'm a really big fan of things that change color. Right next to it, I have my Lego orchids that I got for my birthday. So, really big fan of those as well. I'm a huge fan of Smeeski, so you can find that all throughout my desk as well, and also in other parts of my room like my TV. I do a lot of writing, so my hands get really dry, which is why I have two bottles of hand lotion. And I also have this little stationery thing with this flower that my friend got me for my graduation. And on the bottom, I have my headphone stand and also my laptop stand, which is really handy. This is my water bottle. I honestly have kept a lot of stickers. I really like to attune it to my interests. I had a water bottle for like 5 or 6 years in my undergrad, and it was unfortunately time to get rid of that. So I really was able to attune to some of the interests that I had when I went on Redbubble and supported some local artists on Etsy. I have a MacBook, and even though I really want to have a PC one day, I don't have one. So I kind of use this stand to elevate the laptop to kind of give it a more ergonomic feel, and so I don't have to strain my back. It's been really helpful. I think I need to get a new one. It's kind of getting a little rusty. It's been a few years since I've had this, but yeah, I'm a big fan. I highly recommend something like this if you're going to be in undergrad or grad school. These were not on my desk, I just found them, but these are my headphones. They are Bose headphones. I forget the exact model. They're relatively cheap. I did have a Beats by Dr. Dre headphone, oh my gosh, what are they called? The Beats Solo Pro. They died after like a year. So I wouldn't really recommend those because it's kind of expensive, and for me they didn't last as much. But I've had these for about a year. My brother got me these decals to add on to them, and if you've ever played Honkai Star Rail, it really reminds me of Sunday now. So when I put it on, I feel like I'm a Sunday cosplayer, but besides the point, that was just a quick overview of my desk just to show you guys what I normally use. Apologies, I do not have a tripod, so you have to deal with my shaky camera. But I just wanted to give you a few tips and tricks of how to get into honestly undergrad, grad school, or anything that you may want in the future that requires a sort of application process. I know for me, I've had to apply for undergrad scholarships, grad school, and I know probably next year I do want to get my doctorate, so I would have to apply for that. So it really honestly never ends. But it really is a process that kind of repeats itself again and again. So once you do it a few times, you kind of get more comfortable with it, and that is kind of just making recommendations with professors, asking that they write something for you, kind of recommending you for the program, grades, GPA. And I would say these days GPA is getting less and less important. It's still good to have a GPA around like the 3.0 mark, but a lot of colleges these days and even scholarships are looking for a holistic person in terms of who they are looking for. So I would say as long as you gather experience in what you want to do and apply, GPA isn't going to be the end all be all. So don't be worried if you don't have like near a 4.0 GPA. As long as you are improving in your grades as well. I would say personally for me, when I was applying to grad school, my beginning grades in undergrad for the first 2 years weren't the best, but Once I changed my major and actually specialized in nutrition, junior and senior year, my grades definitely did improve, and I would say that colleges really looked for that and really understood that I was improving and learning as much as I can even after the major change. Personal statements are also really important. They ask you why this college, tell me about yourself, and I would say the best advice is to paint a story. Stories are really important to create a holistic version of yourself and also provide personal experiences. I would say personal experiences are what they're looking for, as well as proving that you have a lot to offer to the university or scholarship that you're applying for. I know for me, I mentioned a lot of things such as Fiji when I went with my university to complete research in that topic of diabetes and also just learning about Fijian culture from locals. And I also really enjoyed doing summer research in social media and pregnancy nutrition and exercise nutrition. So those 2 things are really applicable to my program now in public health, but I also told a lot of personal stories like my history with ovarian cysts and how that landed me in the hospital. Honestly, a story for another day. You can really let your personality shine. It really doesn't need to be super formal. Like, formality is definitely important, but allowing your own personality to shine through is almost just as important, in my opinion. And I'm honestly not an admissions counselor, so someone may tell you different, but for me, at least that's what I did in my essays. I did allow some of my personality to come through, and I am in grad school. I did get through undergrad. I do have a degree. So, I mean, from my experience, this is what worked for me. Skills and certifications are also pretty common in the application process. They ask you about if you've won any awards or have any certifications. I feel like when you're applying to undergrad, that's not really applicable. I mean, I bet some people do have different certifications, but I personally didn't. Besides like AP tests, but I wouldn't really call that a certification. I don't know. Is it? I I honestly don't know. Anyway, I would say that at least in undergrad, make sure that you're doing research and whatever your field is, you do something that will help you build your resume because your resume is really important. And as for certifications, sometimes that just comes with the research. At least that's what happened with me. I got certifications for my research to even complete it to begin with. So, I think it really depends for undergrad, but for graduate school, they kind of do look for like research and certification experience. I know these days standardized testing is also not really a requirement. I know for undergrad, I had to take the ACT. I believe now it's optional, same thing with the SAT, so really depends. If you wanna take it, then I really would suggest if you get a high score, include it, but if it's, like, lower than average, I mean, from my personal experience, I wouldn't include it. I honestly live in a time where I was required to take it, so it's much different. But for the GRE, which is for some graduate schools, most of my universities that I applied for didn't even require it, so I just didn't take it. So all up to you. It's definitely a personal discretion. And then last but not least, just things that are really personal to you. So what do you want to get out of college? Where do you want to go in terms of location? Do you want to be in the suburbs, a city, more rural? Do you want to be near a lot of things? And just what your major is as well. Some universities don't offer certain majors. Where my undergrad was, I didn't really have a public health option. There was a brand new nutrition master's option that I had the opportunity to complete and like go to, and it would have been an extra year, but I decided to do a 2-year program for masters of public health just because that was what I was more interested in and it had been my idea for a long time. So it was honestly tempting, but I decided to go against that, and I'm in a more urban area, so I would say that it is a refreshing change of pace. So that's the end of everything. Just kind of a quick video. I know a lot of people are applying to colleges right now and grad schools, and I just want to say best of luck. I know it can be a really stressful process, especially if you're dealing with classes and APs, things like that. So I wish you the best of luck. You guys are going to do great. If you have any questions, because I honestly have been through this so many times, just ask me. I can help you the best I can, but I am not an admissions counselor. I am not an advisor. So if you have like very, very specific questions, I would recommend you go to someone that probably knows it better than I do. But if you have questions about the LA area, about California, I went to Pepperdine University for my undergrad, so I know a lot about that because I spent 5 years over there, minus the time from COVID. So I also have a video about that, and I'll link it at the end of my credits around like this area. So if you want to look at a day in my life at Pepperdine and kind of just a general overview of it, those are the videos to look for. And with that, I hope you guys have a great morning, afternoon, evening, and see you guys soon. Bye.